I almost said my name is Markus. All right. My name is Cdale Enick. This is Markus, and you're listening to Fallen Hour Radio. Tonight we have a different approach to our podcast, and the reason is we actually are planning on starting to do some paranormal investigating, and we wanted to have a different feel, right, overall. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I've been wanting to do since I was a kid.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
Since like I was literally 12 years old. I
always thought about it. Like we'd always talk about it and everything, but I've never actually like planned to do something.
Yeah.
Or actually even try to get equipment for it, or even just walk around with a camera.
Right.
Never even thought about doing that, but it kind of just the reason why we're doing this episode is because we kind of stumbled on something by accident.
Old footage
that basically we were just filming stock footage. We weren't even planning on doing some kind of investigation or a ghost hunt or anything like that. It just happened by accident. So that's kind of where this episode came from. So,
and you just stumbled upon this a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was completely by accident.
And you sent this to me, and you're like, "You got to check this out." And I was like half asleep.
Yeah, I remember I got basically every footage we had, and I put it on my hard drive. And I remember laying in my bed on my lunch break, and I was just curious, and because I remember we went to this site, and we didn't pay attention to the audio because we were basically there for visual.
Yeah,
footage.
when we do stock footage, we don't really pay attention to audio.
We don't.
When we work with it, we cut the audio out.
Yeah, we usually cut the audio out and just play with the video footage. And I was curious, so I just turned my volume all the way up. And the first video I played was this video. And there was a distinct sound in there that just caught my attention immediately. Yeah. And I mean, this video is like 12 seconds long. That's it. This video,
something in there.
Yeah, this video, I'm surprised we didn't delete it, because usually when we have something we're not going to use, we'll just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And it was 12 seconds of us just walking in this tunnel.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like we usually when we're working, we'll test our shots.
Yeah.
And then delete that footage.
Yeah.
Because we need the memory.
Yeah. And this, I think, is because this clip was so small, it didn't take up any space.
No, we didn't notice it.
Yeah, we didn't even notice it. And I just, out of curiosity, I wanted to watch these videos, and I turned my volume up, and I was just laying in my room by myself, and this was the first video I played.
That's insane.
And when I heard that noise, I started going through all the footage there, and I tried to debunk this myself, and I could not find anything of what this could be.
Right.
And now the sound that we caught, it actually sounds like a Native American hand drum. And that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, and you don't really hear too many audios, especially in paranormal investigating, that sound like this.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one episode of, I know, Ghost Adventures where they were catching something like almost like old school, I think it was like African drums they were catching. But it's like almost like a residual thing.
Yeah. Like I felt like that's what this was. Like, I mean, where this location is on a reservation. It is on a reservation. And we went there basically just for stock footage. This
was shot last year.
Yeah, it was
October.
Last year. We've had this for a year.
Yeah, and this was actually out of Crow Agency, Montana, the Crow Reservation.
In between where we live and the Crow Agency Reservation. Yeah.
And it's a place that is infamously known as the Spirit Tunnel. Mm-hmm. And we actually covered this tunnel on our Urban Legend series, and we had no idea that this would come out of it.
Yeah. I don't even think that episode got put out on.
I don't think it was put out either.
I can't remember if it was.
Well, Markus kindly let me know that some of our episodes we put out on Facebook weren't put out on Anchor or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Yeah. It's just on Facebook and YouTube. So we're gonna go back after this episode. We're gonna go back and start releasing those episodes as well.
Yeah. And maybe kind of come back and touch on it, because this was really interesting to me.
But this is kind of like the turn we're going into now.
Yeah.
Is because we've already made a name for ourselves in this field, and this page, our brand Fallen Hour, was never supposed to be
anything paranormal.
Anything paranormal or anything of that nature. But we started out with art pieces and things like that, and that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then we left the page dead for like a year, and I was like, we got to do something with this page because we got like 2,000 people on there. And then we started getting into conspiracies and things of that nature. And now we're starting to. I think
what kicked it off was when I wanted to do This Man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The whole This Man deal.
Yeah.
And that, when we started getting that response of people saying that we gave them nightmares, or they're at work, late at night closing up, and they're listening to our podcast, and they started getting creeped out because of it, and they started asking us to do more.
Yeah, and it's
like they wanted to be scared.
And it's weird because we only had one mic at that time.
Yeah.
And it was a crap podcast, but it was like one of the best ones.
Yeah,
we did some research on it.
I was always like, man, I wish we did these better. I wish we got more equipment and better mics and stuff like that. But, kind of listening back to them, I was like, God, these were horrible.
I got it. All their cringe.
But they were like some of the most asked about ones. Like, I mean, people were stopping me, asking me about that, or talking to me saying, hey, I checked out your podcast and this and that, or I saw your videos, and they started asking me questions about it and stuff like that, and they were asking for more of the paranormal stuff.
Yeah,
they wanted us to get into that,
and that's one of the things we're going into. Is, I mean, we've been asked countless times to travel across the U.S.
Yeah,
travel into Canada,
and we started getting invited to all these places, saying, hey, you should come check out this place, or this place is haunted, you should do an investigation here, or come film here, when we weren't even doing that at the time.
That wasn't we never put it out that we were going to be a paranormal investigation team, nothing like that.
I mean, we planned on it, we just never really put it out there, but we were already getting invites because of some of the stuff we already did.
Going back to our first season of Fallen Hour, we're getting invites. And I was like, it's exciting because this is something I've wanted to do since I was 12. I mean, I've tried it when I was little, 12, 13 years old, going out there, 15 years old.
I remember you going around town somewhere here, and you and your friends, and showed me an audio you guys got on your phone,
right.
remember?
Yeah.
And it was a voice.
Yeah.
It was somebody talking. Didn't they say a name or something like that?
Oh, they said, I think it was either my name or Myrtle's name.
Yeah.
And then we're asking them what their name was, and they said Nick.
I thought it was Jacob or something. I can't remember.
Something like that.
But I remember it. I was like, no way, that can't be real, because it was totally
it was clear.
Yeah, it was very clear.
So it's going to be one of those things that we're especially going to be diving into, and we're researching and planning on getting a large inventory of paranormal investigating equipment. I mean, we're getting the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get just a simple recorder and go out there and hunt. We're going to get actual equipment that was
top of the line.
Yeah, top of the line that was invented by people like Bill Chappell, like the one he's famous for inventing, and things like that. And trying to get REM pods and a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to go forward with.
Basically, get a whole arsenal.
Yeah, an arsenal. So when we go into a place, we're going to have a big pack with us that we're going to go in there and to choose from an arsenal investigating. Static night vision cameras, things of that nature. Yeah, it's going to be a cool thing to get into.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's creepy.
And the thing is there's different philosophies out there of paranormal investigating, but we're going to take a totally different turn on it. And it's going to be something that's going to be especially groundbreaking. And a lot of things we do, we're going to start doing experiments with it. We're going to go to places that I don't think anybody wants to go. Mm-hmm. We're going to especially do things I don't think anybody's going to want to do.
Yeah,
and we're going to bring
try to hit it with a whole new take. Everything, yeah.
And we're gonna bring. I was telling Markus, it's like there's some places out there that sell some haunted items you can take inside of your pack. He's like, you're just asking for it.
I know.
It's like, well, it's the whole deal. You gotta try to do something. But all right, we have a clip here, and this comes from the Spirit Tunnel in Croydon, Montana, and we're gonna play it for you guys, and we're gonna analyze it in real time.
Yeah. Now I almost thought that clicked on it. Thought I heard a noise over there. But, it's just the reason why this really stood out to me was because it is completely out of place.
Right.
I tried to debunk this myself, and I could not find anything that could make this noise.
And the good thing is there's more than one camera rolling.
Yeah. We have 2 cameras rolling. There was 4 of us in this tunnel. There was Aaron Baker and Aaron Martin from After Horizons with us, and we were just doing some stock footage, and you can clearly see Aaron Martin in the front with the camera behind me, and Aaron Baker behind him with his hands in his pockets, and you were in the back.
Yeah, recording.
Recording. And there was nobody else around, no cars driving by, and this is the noise we caught. And to me, it sounds like a hand drum.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and play that. It's like 12 seconds long. And don't mind my horrible laugh here. All right, we'll go ahead and play it. I don't know why, but it always gets me.
Play it one more time. I want them to hear Aaron's cough as well.
Because, I listened to that too and tried to see if that's what it was, but this is clearly a drum noise. It's like you can hear his him clear his throat, and it has that little echo, but this sounds nothing like that.
Yeah.
So right before that, you'll hear this drum. But if you notice in the beginning, it almost sounds like the ending of the ringing of a drum.
Yeah, it rings out.
Yeah, it kind of rings out, and then you hear it again.
And the thing about it is none of us reacted to it.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything when we were in there.
Especially going there for stock footage about urban legends, I think we would have been keeping our ears peeled for something like this, especially in that tunnel because it's famous for this.
This is so clear that we should have heard this, if anything.
We all would have turned around and
we all would have
looked for this.
This was noticeable. This was a very noticeable noise. So the fact that this was just caught on the cameras it's just really interesting.
Yeah, and nobody dropped anything because if we dropped something and they made that noise, everyone would have saw it or heard it, and we would have been looking for whatever it was.
We had nothing in our hands to make this noise. If we dropped it.
We just had cameras in our hands.
Just 2 cameras. That's it. And so I really want to talk to After Horizons and see if they have
that footage,
their footage, and see if there's anything on there.
I might actually have that footage.
Okay, we can go through that and try to find it. But if not, we should bring this to them anyway because I want to show them this.
It's strange.
It is.
At the beginning of the clip, it's almost like there was another hit, but it was just
just ringing out.
Yeah, just ringing out.
So I'll play it one more time.
And it's creepy because it's almost like this thing's menacing. Like it's not hitting it like purposely.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's trying to.
And it's like it's not. It can't be anything outside the tunnels. If any, those are different kind of drums that you would hear.
Yeah.
Because in the Native American, they have different style drums.
Do you have that clip of drums we could play? Of an actual hand drum?
We could probably just add it in.
Right.
But just show the clip really quick.
Okay, so we had a malfunction there, and what you guys are going to hear at home, especially listening to podcast platforms, is you just heard stripped audio from our cameras because for some reason our audio cut out during those videos. But you can clearly hear what sounds like a hand drum. Mm-hmm. And I think it's especially important to mention that we were doing an entire series that we launched and we've widely publicized for it about an urban legend series.
Yeah, basically revolving around Native American lore mostly.
Yeah. And especially when we're doing these things, and it's no wonder that we should be getting into paranormal research, is because every time we even mention that we're doing a series about something, we get somehow contacted.
Happening.
We either get contacted by what would be that thing that we're
subject?
talking about.
Yeah.
Or it's like someone else in our family or our friends, they get contacted by what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, this happened with This Man Conspiracy.
Even when we didn't even put it out that we were going to do this subject, people were reaching out to us saying, hey, this happened to me.
Yeah.
And it was literally the subject we're about to present.
Yeah.
And that's what was really creepy.
I mean, it happened with This Man Conspiracy. We had a wide range of people having dreams before we even put it out.
Yeah.
It happened with La Llorona, and that one was the creepiest one because it happened to me.
Like the crying woman?
Yeah, to me, my wife, and you and your wife.
Yeah.
And the same night.
Yeah, it was the same night.
And it's like every time we get into these different urban legends or different lore stories or ghost stories.
What really got me with that story was because it started saying my name.
Oh,
and
right.
At the time when it happened, nobody knew where I lived. Nobody knew where I was staying.
Oh,
and
it was crying and it was saying your name.
It was saying my name.
I just got the chills.
And it was actually, I was thinking about, right after that happened, talking to my dad because he had a similar story.
Right.
And another family member had a similar story where it was crying their name and trying to lure them outside.
Yeah.
And I had my window open that night.
That's disgusting.
And my window was right by my headboard.
And it was like
so, like when I turned my head, I could look right out the window.
And it's in
right there.
And you guys were living in what would be like a cornfield.
Yeah, like we're surrounded by fields.
Crops.
And literally nobody knew where I lived. So it couldn't be anybody I've known.
That's the gross thing about it.
And I was like sitting there thinking, like, I remember waking Sarah up and like the second time it happened. It happened like 2 or 3 times in the same night. And finally I just woke her up, and the second she got up, it stopped.
That's weird.
No, I wasn't asleep. It wasn't sleep paralysis because I woke up and I sat up and I was still listening and I still heard it.
You weren't dreaming.
I wasn't dreaming.
Yeah.
I was wide awake. I was sitting up. And that's when I grabbed her and I said, hey, get up. And I told her what happened. I didn't really tell her what happened right away, but later on I told her the next morning because it's like, if I tell her now, she's not going to sleep.
God.
I got up, I shut the window, locked it.
But, I mean, we have a brother and he lives very close to me, but his activity is through the roof. We have a sister and she lives way out there and her activity is through the roof. And we announced that we're doing this investigating, and it seems like all that activity just skyrocketed.
Yeah. And, I mean, our older brother actually lives above him. Like, This is a duplex, and he lives upstairs. Now you have to go through a different door to get upstairs. And
they're basically essentially 2 houses, just
stacked on top of each other. And we'll be downstairs, he'll be at work, nobody upstairs, and you hear things moving.
Yeah, like
you
chairs.
Hear things falling. You'll hear somebody crying. You'll hear all these strange noises. Like, it sounds like somebody's upstairs, but there'll be nobody there.
He came home one day.
Like, it got to the point where we literally have to ask him, are you home, or is somebody at your house?
Yeah.
Because there is obviously somebody upstairs.
And he came home one day, and his whole place was torn apart.
Yeah, his whole place was thrashed.
Nothing was stolen, but his garbage can was laying on the ground. There was a chair like across the room.
His chairs were dragged across the room. All the stuff knocked around.
And that was one of the days that we heard something when he was gone.
Yeah.
Like, there was fighting going on upstairs, but he was at work.
Yeah. Like, there's even a point where I went upstairs and knocked on the door because we were hearing things. Like, we were hearing children run around.
Yeah.
And
there's nobody there.
No, there was. That was the time that there was someone.
Oh,
there.
was there?
I was so creeped out and afraid to
right.
knock on the door because it became normal.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
And when I was walking back down the stairs, the door opened and my heart stopped. I was just like, oh my God, it opened the door. But we turned around and there was somebody upstairs.
And you used to live there and you had your own experiences up there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a time or two that something happened when I was up there.
I can't remember if we had anything happen up there. Because we used to live up there too.
Like that's the specific event that I'm thinking about right now. I would like to recreate it since we have access to the actual place.
And we have
recreate this,
amazing editing software now.
Yeah. So since we have all this software and everything, I wanted to actually recreate that just to kind of give everybody the whole visual of what happened, like, to me.
And it's like everywhere he goes, there's some sort of haunting.
Yeah.
In the place.
Like I'm starting to think that it's not the place; it's attached to him.
Yeah. But
he's so inviting of it.
Yeah, he likes it.
He likes that kind of stuff. But I think he's starting to get scared because he doesn't want to be home anymore.
Yeah, he's seeing faces now.
Yeah, like he's starting to see actual faces.
I remember getting in an old apartment that he had, and we were taking pictures outside because we knew that his place was haunted, and we captured a woman in his back window. Remember that?
Oh my God!
In the washing room.
Yep.
And you could see her hair.
She had gray hair, and it wasn't like a bun.
Yeah.
And you can see her face, her eyes, her mouth, everything.
Yeah. And the place we live in now is pretty old too.
Yeah, it is. This was actually on the reservation. It was moved here.
That's weird.
Yeah, they actually moved this whole building here.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Strange.
But this was actually like they said when it was down there where it was like a known party house.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of stuff that happened in this building itself.
And it's got a really dark history. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially in recent years.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened here. Like even suicides and stuff like that happened in this place. So it has a dark history to it. But like looking at it now, it's so nice.
Yeah,
like
the owner, it's totally remodeled.
The owner that took over it, he totally remodeled everything. He just did a beautiful job. And you'd never know that this place was that old. But
I didn't know it was that old.
Yeah, it was actually moved here.
That's insane. Mm-hmm. And I live in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you live in it now. But what the funny thing is, I used to live down here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to live upstairs and I used to live downstairs.
And I used to live upstairs and down here.
Yeah, and something actually happened here downstairs too that I've never... It took a while for me to actually talk about it because it was so creepy.
Yeah, nothing's ever happened to me except until tonight.
Yeah.
And it's strange that we're doing the podcast tonight too, because nothing's ever happened here, and I lived here over a year.
Yeah.
And I was here alone because Alethea was with you at Erica's house. And I told her we were getting ready for this podcast, and then I would go to the bathroom, and then all my cats and my dog are laying on her bed. Mm-hmm. So no, it wasn't them.
This was tonight.
Yeah, this was tonight. And I go to the nothing on in the house, by the way. And I go to the bathroom, and I just put my vapor down on the table, and then I went to the bathroom. It wasn't my vapor that fell over, but something went fell over. I was like, what the heck? And I come out of the bathroom, and these guys are still laying on the bed just sleeping. And I was like, what the heck? I started looking around of like seeing what it could be, and I almost got my phone out to start recording, but I didn't. And then I was looking, but it's something fell over. And then I go back to the bathroom, and then it happens again.
You hear the same noise again.
Yeah, same noise. Something fell over again. I was like, what the heck? And I couldn't find what it was that fell over, but something clearly fell over in the house.
So like, I mean, we're like no strangers to these kind of things.
Yeah, we grew up
like hearing all these different stories, you know, and things actually happening and seeing things ourselves with our own eyes. So like, I know it's real. Like I know it's
I mean, we've grown up, and even in recent years, we've seen real life exorcisms.
Yeah.
And we've seen
actually witnessed. I've witnessed a number of. They don't call it exorcisms. They call it like they're casting these demonic entities out.
But I mean, in terms of people that would understand.
It, or
it's essentially an exorcism.
Yes, it is.
Just so in terms that everyone listening knows what we're experiencing or what experienced.
And usually, when actually some of the people that this happened to, talking to them, there's a lot of similarities to what they felt. What was going through their head, what they heard, everything. There's a lot of similarities to it. So, and
that is kind of what we're bringing to the table is when we go into these investigations, we're not going in blind. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We know what's going to be happening and certain risks that we're taking, and we're bringing all this knowledge to the table. I mean, we've grown up knowing about demons. Mm-hmm. We've growing up about possessions and things of that nature, and we've witnessed possessions firsthand.
Yeah.
And now we're jumping into that world of like we're gonna go basically give everyone more proof that there's something
is real.
There's real things out there, and we're gonna preface it like you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to especially go out there and start chasing these things because, especially knowing about demons and things of that nature, it's not something you should chase.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be chasing things like this. But we're going out there and we're doing it because not for fun, but to give more research onto basically what we're researching.
Mm-hmm.
We're researching paranormal. We're researching urban legends, and we're going to bring this to the table as well to show people that this is also another thing we're going to be studying.
Yeah. In this video that we just played, we didn't alter the video in any way. We didn't enhance it in any way. We didn't turn the volume up in any way. How we played it is how it was recorded.
Right.
This is literally how it was recorded on the cameras. And just letting everybody know that. So
that being said, anything else there?
You want to kind of give them a backstory on like the whole Native American drum?
What do you mean?
like what it represented and everything, or do you know much about that?
I don't think I know too much about it. I mean, I bet you if you said something, it'd probably ring a bell, but
but like I guess the hand drum is like one of the most kind of like the most sacred of the drums that they have, like the Native American people, and it represents like the rhythm of life, I guess, and stuff like that. Like I wanted to really get into that and kind of.
Well, I guess every culture as well had their own story to it, and it differs by tribe. Mm-hmm. Every tribe has their own little thing they tell about it. There's different stories about how the drum came to be and things of that nature.
Yeah, like Aaron Martin said in one of our older podcasts that it's like one of the most it was like the first instrument ever created, pretty much.
Oh right, yeah.
So like it has a pretty interesting backstory to it.
But this is basically going to be the whole theme going forward. I mean, we'll do podcasts and that'll be like a whole different thing. But things like this, we're going to sit down and review the footage in real time and give that to you guys on Facebook, YouTube, and our fans up there on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. A really cool thing to come, and I hope you guys stick around for it.
Yeah. But I want to also drop in a few clips from some of the other videos that we took at this place to show you that I tried to debunk this, and I tried to listen for cars driving by, and you can clearly hear them.
Yeah, it's a car you're hearing.
Each side of the tunnel, like a car driving by this way, a car driving by that way. And I found some footage of the cars driving over the bridge, thinking maybe it hit something that made that sound. But
you can hear a car coming from a mile.
Yeah. And in this specific video that we hear that drum noise, there's no cars around at all.
Yeah.
There is absolutely nothing.
For
this
that.
was like the perfect video for that. Like there's no background noises or anything, just us walking in this tunnel.
Right.
And we have absolutely nothing with us that could make this noise.
And I mean, to everyone out there who thinks like, oh, this is stupid, it's just a little baby clip. But I mean, this is the stuff that's going to be like groundbreaking. Yeah. I mean, you don't hear Native American drums on audio. Especially if it's like a residual freaking...
Actually, I used to go to a Job Corps center when I was younger, and I remember this one guy came back from hiking, and he was so creeped out. As like on his way back, it was getting dark, and we stayed in the same dorm, and he came in and he was like, you can tell he was worked up and he was creeped out.
Right.
And he was trying to describe, what he heard. He's like, I think we heard like, ghosts or this or that, and something out there that wasn't supposed to be out there. And he was trying to describe what it was, but he didn't want to say it because this Job Corps center that I went to, I was literally like the only Native American there, and I was standing in the room, and he kept looking at me when he was trying to tell the story. And I was like, just say it. What did you hear? And he stopped, and he finally just said, it sounded like native drumming.
Yeah.
So that's what I heard. He's like, it was really clear, and he said it wasn't really far away. He said it sounded like it was right there, right next to him.
Oh,
and he could hear it around him, and he got so scared.
That's gross.
But around that area, there's some haunted locations that are well known. So
it's not too far from us either.
It's not too far from us. And he, that's around where he kind of heard it. So he was breathing hard, and he was kind of like just kind of pacing a little bit.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he kept looking at me because he didn't want to say this because he probably thought I would think he was stupid or something.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, man. Like, I can understand that. Like,
Yeah.
it probably creeped him
It
out.
happened to us in the house.
Yeah.
Remember that? There was, we heard drumming going on outside. We were inside of our house, and we lived on a reservation, and you hear drumming happening often in the summertime. I mean, especially if they're practicing with their drum groups and things of that nature. And we had a neighbor who had their own drum group, and they were practicing all the time. But this one time, it was different. I mean, we were hearing drumming going on inside our house.
Yeah.
Coming like it was outside, but it was like
sometimes, like some of the drums, they're so powerful that it sounds like it's right here.
Yeah.
But we were literally their neighbor. They were right next to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we heard this happening, and it was at an ungodly hour.
Yeah, I think it was like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and we're like, "What the heck?" And we were all night owls, so we're always awake, and we go outside because we hear these drums, and we open the door, nothing.
Yeah, there's no drumming coming from outside.
Yeah, we shut the door,
go back and sat down right where the computer was.
Yeah, and it's like doom, 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 same thing again.
Yep.
And we kept doing this for like 15 minutes, going in and out,
walking outside and thinking maybe it's a TV, and wasn't any.
Yeah, no TVs were on
at all. Yeah,
the only thing was on was our computer because we'd always stay up late watching ghost videos.
Ghosts caught on tape, all these paranormal stuff, getting creeped out. And this was the time that it happened, and it wasn't just one person, two person. We had a group of us.
Yeah, and that was kind of like normal, because like we would get into watching ghost videos, and everybody would show up to the house.
Like I remember there was a time where there was about 20 people in that.
Yeah,
in that room.
and it was in a time of.
And it was like 4:30 in the morning. Remember that?
It was in a time of like YouTube's just starting.
Yeah.
But there's now all these ghost videos that are coming online.
Yeah.
And we would sit there for hours and hours not researching, but actually like looking up these videos and going to these weird websites, and everyone would just be sitting there watching with us and getting creeped out.
Yeah. And I remember some of our friends, they got so creeped out that they didn't want to go home. They ended up sleeping in my room.
Yeah.
I had a group of people in my room. They didn't want to go home.
But it's a weird thing to happen too, and that those sorts of things, especially living down there, happen all the time.
Yeah. Like the whole like the witching hour.
Yeah.
Like what happened around that time.
Me and our brother Merville, we had an experience where we seen someone standing outside their house at like, and it was like early, the sun was just coming up.
Uh-huh.
And this person looked like he was holding a baby in his hand, but he was smoking with it.
Yeah.
A little person.
I remember that.
And these people were said to, there were stories about him and everything. We were actually told by one of their family members too that one of their they call it medicine. It's like I guess you guys might know a little bit about it, but it's basically what medicine men do, or like doctors and things of that nature, but in more of like a paranormal sense or a spiritual sense. But one of their medicines was little people. And it's a strange thing. I guess it's been in their family for generations. Yeah. And we've heard about it, and he said that he would always get messed with in his house. They'd be running up and down his hallway and things like that. There'd be messes in the house. And we experienced it. We saw a little person. Yeah. And he was smoking with it.
Like, and we thought like they was carrying a baby.
Yeah, we thought he was carrying a baby in his morning time.
But it wasn't a baby.
And he was smoking, and then he went like this. And that thing was puffing and then blowing it out.
It blew the smoke out. Yeah.
And a baby, if it was that size, it's not going to know how to smoke.
It's not going to know how to take a drag.
No, and it was the weirdest thing of my life.
And he had it wrapped up, like he was looking around.
It was almost like one of those big wool blankets that he had it wrapped up in.
And there was like drumming and stuff going on that night too.
Yeah,
like they were doing something. Yeah,
and it's like they were that close to these things. Oh God, it gave me the chills.
Yeah, like it's a whole different world.
Yeah,
it is.
And that's kind of the thing we're leading with. I mean, especially, we kind of figured out that
I know, like, even talking about some of this stuff, some people are going to probably get really
mad,
really angry.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to talk about this, or you're not supposed to tell certain stories, or you're not supposed to put certain things out.
Yeah.
But, oh well, I guess.
We're going to be the ones to put it out there.
It's like, I mean, it was always interesting learning about this kind of stuff growing up, and then just like the rest of the world not even knowing about it.
Right.
Like, it's a whole different world.
It's like that, we just watched Ip Man yesterday. The fourth one. And
I was gonna say, what does that have to do?
Anyways,
with this?
it's like the same thing. There's this all these masters, these grandmasters in a room, and they're all pissed off that Bruce Lee's teaching they aren't Chinese.
Yeah.
And he's teaching them Chinese kung fu.
Yeah.
And they're getting pissed off that he's doing it because he shouldn't be teaching people who aren't in their culture this.
Yeah.
But then he made this mainstream, and it's like all over the United States and all over the world now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that, but then again, it's not. But it's like we're gonna piss people off, but it's gonna be especially groundbreaking for the field, I think.
Yeah. Like, we want to actually put this out, saying this is something that goes on in our world too.
Yeah. And it's a totally different world.
And it's weird because, like, the whole like when you brought up little people, like how this is like they're almost like a spiritual entity in a way. There's stories that Bigfoot also is.
Right, and I've heard that was medicine as well.
Mm-hmm.
Down there on the Crow Reservation.
Like, there was stories of people saying that he was going through the reservation, walking across the highway, and stuff like that, and even semis and stuff hitting the brakes, stopping and getting out and looking, and somebody speaking in their native language saying, "What is he doing down here?"
Right.
Like, they knew about it.
Yeah.
And there's even stories in Idaho, like we can talk to people down there that we know
that
had experiences that even brought in the whole news and magazines the news and everything. And even the elders there were saying, don't tell them anything. Don't talk about it.
We also have a relative who had encounter with aliens.
What?
Or was it a dream? I don't know. Anyway, she has her skylight blocked off now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, and I remember I was just down there a few years ago.
Yeah, and it's still there.
It's still covered. Her skylights are still covered.
Maybe we could talk to her and
I remember asking her, are your skylights still covered? And she said, no, that's whatever.
I was there with you.
And when I got there, I was like, they're still covered. Yeah, like something creeped her out to where she covered her skylights.
But I think it's like, especially recently, I've noticed that a lot of our urban legends, Native American urban legends, are the top.
Yeah.
In our podcasting.
Like, even going around, people stop me and ask me, and they say that they want us to do more Native American like lore.
Yeah.
But they said we want the creepy stuff.
Yeah.
They're asking for the more dark side of the stuff. Yeah.
And you're like going to like McDonald's and Pizza, and people are stopping and
asking me about it. Yeah.
When's your next one to come out?
Yeah, it's funny, like getting stopped in random places, like even in Billings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when we go to like the city next to us and getting stopped and stuff like that. It's they like want to hear this kind of stuff.
It's strange because
it's like funny. Like we weren't even planning on getting into this stuff. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, but now it's like a passion.
Yeah,
it's something cool to get into.
But I hate it because like right now it's like 3:30 in the morning and I gotta go home. It's like I'm creeped out driving home, trying to open my door really quick. I'm just kidding. I'm not that bad.
But it's gonna be a really cool thing, and that's the thing about the podcast is people are wanting this, and they're wanting us to, because especially if you're not native, you don't hear these things.
Yeah,
and we're
like some people like around where we live, because we're basically kind of we live in what is basically like a border town. Yeah, it borders the reservation.
Right.
So yeah, like some people here, they do get some of the stories and they know some of the lore.
Yeah.
So, and I remember I had to work somewhere up in oh my goodness, it was somewhere in the Priors in the mountains, like deep in the mountains.
Oh yeah.
And I was working on this guy's house, and he wasn't Native American. Mm-hmm. He was white.
Yeah.
And I stayed with him and I was working on his house, and he was told all these stories and he knew a lot. Like when he asked me about like, what do you know about like little people and stuff like that?
Right.
And I remember laughing like, why? Because I'm native? Like, what are you getting at? What is this? Are you going to make a joke or something? like I thought he was going to poke fun at me. Yeah. And he literally, he told me stuff that I didn't even know about. I was just
Interesting.
like, wow, like I was kind of blown away.
And he lives in the heart of little people country.
Yeah. And he even told me stories like he would be like where he lives, you'd have to go through these like on each side of the road, it's just a dirt path that goes up to his house, and there's rock walls
Right.
basically, and there's caves. It looks like a bunch of caves,
Wow.
literally all the way across this path, and you have to drive through this to get to his house.
Yeah.
And I remember I was looking up in those, kind of thinking like, I wonder if like anything stays in those, you know, like kind of creeping myself out. And he told me a story that he was driving home from the bar one night, and he said, I didn't have, too much to drink. I was, mostly sober. He said I only had a few beers, and he was driving through here, and he said a rock hit his car.
Mm-hmm.
And this was late at night. He said it was dark out, and he said a rock hit his car, and he hit the brakes, and he got out, and he got his flashlight, and he shined it up, and he thought somebody was messing with him. And he said he shined his light over, and he saw something back into one of those caves
Oh, yeah.
on the side of the wall. And he started yelling, asking, who the hell is up there and this and that. And he said it just started raining rocks on his car from
my God.
every direction. And he got in his car, and he just said, I hauled ass through there. And he said it was just, some of them were big. He said it was hitting the ground, like literally raining on his car from all of these little holes and caves through this path.
Weird.
He said he couldn't get there through there fast enough, and now he doesn't go through there when it's night. He tries to get home before it gets dark.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that's what sparked his interest with this topic.
Does he still live out there?
I believe so. Yeah, I wouldn't want to move. I mean, it's a nice place. Like when you get to his house, it's gorgeous. It is.
Do you know this guy still or no?
No, but I bet you anything I could probably find
Get a hold of him?
Yeah,
You
it's
should.
a drive. I'll tell you that right now.
Get a hold of him. Let's do
It's
it.
one hell of a drive.
We got to go to that place.
But
And that's
no.
one of the places we're going to go to, especially is when we get our equipment, is going to the Priors.
Yeah, like it was deep in the mountains, man.
And we're going to try to contact, one of the things we wanted to do that was kind of disgusting and that you were disgusted about was getting a spirit box and doing a whole thing about the This Man conspiracy
Ugh, yeah, no.
and reaching out to who
Yeah,
would
let's not
be
do that.
this man.
That's
I
like
said
that.
that and you're like, oh, yuck.
Whether it's a joke or not, things happened. And
Yeah.
people were telling us.
Yeah,
Especially the one that was predating this whole phenomenon.
Oh, right.
That was a really interesting story.
in the 90s or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, 40 minutes went by, and I think that's it. And we will leave you with we'll be back next week, I guess.
But comment, write us,
Right.
DM us, whatever you need to. Just tell us your thoughts on this this clip, letting us know what you think about it or what you think it is or what it sounds like to you. We'd really be interested in knowing.
And let us know if you're excited
Yeah.
about our future plans about doing some goose hunting.
Not excited about that because it's creepy.
All right, that being said, my name is Enick. This is Markus, and you are listening to Fallen Hour Radio.